Okay, hello everybody. So today we will see how to create a user in SAP. So I'll take you through various transaction codes. So at the very first step, in order to create a user, so the transaction code is SU01 to create a user. So this would be your SU01 screen. So where you get to see different icons here, right? So there is a there is an importance for each and every icon in here. So this is for create, this is for change, this is to display, this is to delete, this is to copy, and this is to lock, and this is to change your password. So we will see all of these options in SU01. So let me take you through the user creation. So let me create a user, maybe a test ID underscore 01, for example. So, so the very first thing is, so if it is going to be a new user, so directly go ahead and then create it from here by using this icon. So once this user ID, when you click on that create button, so you get to see various options in here. And if you observe, there is this tick mark, right? So which means that this is a mandatory field that you have to give in order to create a user. So this is a very important question. So all you have to give is the last name because it is mandatory, and then you have to give the password, and then you have to assign a specific role to the user. Then only he can able to use the access. So let me go back to the address tab, and then the various field that you get to see is you have to give the last name. So in here, let's say a test ID, and let's say the first name as SAP, just as an example. So you can give instead you can give first name and last name, and you can give the function, which function that he belongs to. Is he part of manufacturing? Is he part of engineering? Is he part of technical? So you can give the function, and then you can give the department name. You can give the address in case if your client decides that you have to maintain all this information, you have to maintain that information. And the important thing is you have to give the email address, which is very important. So once you give, so let's say email address, let's say test@sap.com, and then go to the logon data. So this is very important in here. If you observe, you have user type. So there are various user types in SAP, like you all know. So if dialogue is nothing but, for example, you and me, who would be interacting with the system. So they are called as dialogue users because we execute a transaction code and then we get something to see. So we interact with the system. So we are all dialogue users. So system ID is something that can be used in the background. So this need not to be, so you cannot log in with the system ID, but instead that particular user ID with system user type can be used to schedule some of the background jobs, which runs in the background. So I'll talk about that in my next videos. And then there is something called as communication data. So when you want to interact between two systems in order to fetch the data, so you will create a user and then you will set up the user type as communication. So this would be used in your RFC connections. And there is something called as reference. So like it said, logon not possible. You cannot log in with a reference ID. So basically this is used for, internet users. And if you wanted to give an additional access to the user, so you can tag a reference ID in the same user ID. I'll show you this. And then service ID. So for all test IDs, so the user type must be service. So an example would be, let's say you have created a role for a team, and then you wanted the team to test that particular role that you have created. Let's say you have created a role for basis team, and then you wanted to give this particular role to be tested by different basis people. So instead of giving them multiple user IDs, so we can just give one ID, one user ID, where that particular role is assigned to, and then you can share with that particular test ID to the basis team. So what they can do is they'll be able to log in, and then they'll not be prompted to change a password. So one more important thing to be considered is, so for a dialogue ID, right? So even then the administrator set up a password, initial password. So when the dialogue ID is logging in for the very first time, so they have to change the password. Okay, because they are the owner of that particular ID, right? So it will prompt to change the password. So whereas in service, it will not prompt you to change any password. So all it does is So you can just log in into the ID with the password that has been given by the administrator. So in case if it is logged, if something else, you have to go back to the security administrator. So that's all about the user types. So yeah, so in this case, let's go with user type as dialog, and then you have to give the password. So password rules. So it is case sensitive. So you can either deactivate the password in case if you're using single sign-on SSO. So you will have to deactivate the password for the users. So if you're not using any single sign-on, so you have to give them a password. So this is system generated, but it is not recommended. So you can give your own password. So in this case, I'm giving a password. And here you can see user group. So if you want to specify the user belongs to a particular user group, so you can assign a user group. I'll talk to you about user group in my next session. And then you can give the valid from and then valid to. You can restrict it from here. And then SNC. So if you're using any secured connection, network connection, so you are supposed to maintain the SNC name here with a name like P colon CN and then vice versa. I'll talk about this in my next session. And then you have defaults. So this is an important thing that you have to look after. So the decimal notation, so the logon language, so it can be done from here. So we can set up a default logon language for users. So these are the various languages that are supported by SAP. So you can select that logon language and then decimal notation. So based on the country, so people use different decimal notations in order to see their values. So this can be changed accordingly. And then similarly, the rate format, it can be changed. So, and then time format, and then the spool control. So output device, you can default a user to a particular output device by giving the respective output device name. So this will be given by the basis team to us if in case if you have to maintain that. And then the time zone. So you can default a particular user to a particular time zone, and then even they can change it by using a transaction code called SU3. So I'll show you that later. And then you have something called as parameters. So what is the importance of maintaining parameters here? So see, by maintaining the parameters, this is not going to impact any of your existing access. So always remember that your access for a user, if he is complaining about any access issues, that is something to do with the role that you have assigned, not something to do with the parameters that you have assigned. So if you assign a particular parameter, right? So that would be like defaulted to a particular transaction code. So this will be given to you by the functional teams in case if they wanted us to maintain any default parameter values. So it's like predefined values that you would be setting up to a particular user, to a particular transaction code. So this would be given to us by the functional IDs. So yeah, the thumb rule is this will not define any user access. And then at the end of the day, you have to give the particular role to a user, like based on his roles and responsibilities, you'll have to give a particular role to the ID. So always remember that we are not supposed to assign any profiles. Okay, all you have to do is assign a particular role. So when you assign the role, automatically the profile gets assigned. So yeah, so you have to keep these things in your mind when you're creating any user ID in the system. All right, so then you have to save it. So assigning a role is not mandatory, but if you're not assigning any role, it doesn't make any sense. So in this example, I'm not assigning any role, I'm just saving it. So that's it. So you'll be able to create it. So now if you wanted to change it, you can just click on change, and then you can make changes, whatever you wanted. You can assign a role, you can remove a role, you can do anything here. And then in here, you see this section, right? Reference user. So here you would assign a particular reference user to this existing ID. So that is the importance of reference user. So that is all about change, and then you can display it. So what is the transaction code for display access to SU01 is SU01D. So you would give this access to different technical teams who's part of your AMS, application maintenance support team. So yeah, this would just display what the user has, and then what are the other details that are maintained for this particular user. So, and then delete. So you can able to delete an ID by clicking on that. So when you say yes, the user gets deleted. And then see, what is this is copy user. So when do we use this is, let's say if if there is a newcomer in your team, and then if you wanted to create an ID for him. So what they can do is they can give us any reference user. For example, if there is a team of 5 people, so they can give any one of their ID. So what we'll do is we'll give their ID here, and then we will give the new ID to be created here, and then we will just create it. Okay, so when we say this, all these entries, so whatever you see, so these are nothing but different tabs that you have in SU01. So whenever you check it, so which means that all these details will get copied. So here you have to observe that address data. So SAP has not defaulted this because the username might differ, the email address might differ, the department might differ. So which is why this is not defaulted by SAP. Okay, so when you click on this, copy. So yeah, so there is an ID already exists. So I'll just give 010, let's say, to be created. So you'll be able to create a new user ID by copying from the existing user ID. So here you go. So you can see everything, like whatever that has been maintained. This would be empty. So if you're not assigning anything, it will automatically take the user ID that you have maintained as last name. So that is the importance of that. So I'm just canceling it. And yeah, so from here, you'll be able to either log the ID. So it does not exist because I did not create one. So let's say this is an existing ID. So you will be able to see the status, and then you can take the necessary step, accessory action, which is either unlock or either lock. Okay, so that is the importance of that. And you can reset this particular user ID password from here. So here you see initial password set by administrator because I've created this user and then I've set up the password. So which is why you get to see as initial password. Let's say I created the ID and then I sent it to the user, and the user, when the user logs in, it will prompt them to change the password. So once they change the password, right? So you get to see that password maintained here instead of initial password because they have changed it. So which is why you get to see password changed or something like this here. So that is a importance of these icons, different icons here. Yeah, so this is all about SU01 on how to create users in SAP. So in my next videos, I'll talk to you about what are the other transaction codes and then how to use them in your day-to-day activities. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for looking at this video. So happy learning. I'll see you again with one more interesting video. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.